Happy Saturday. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day. I have so much on my mind right now. I don't even know where to start. My name is Brandon Starks. I am the CEO and founder of the People's Market. And last week, I was in the car picking up some food like I normally do, picking up our fresh produce from Botanical Bites and Provisions. And I got a little ride, it's a little step, just a little bit. So while I'm in the car, I'm like, why don't I share my thoughts? You know what I'm saying? And talk a little bit about my week, what's been going on, what inspires us. And I say us because the People's Market is a team. We're a family-owned business. My mom's got a hand in it. My uncle, he's got a hand in it, helping out with stuff. My wife, she does a little bit of everything. And really just helping to balance everything out. And my wife just has this sort of visionary touch. Like, I did an Instagram video earlier in the week for a collard greens and kale recipe, inspired by my stepdad. He always makes collard greens and kale in a crock pot, like either Christmas or Thanksgiving, whenever there's a holiday or some special occasion, he'll make it. And I pulled out this really big bowl to put some of my seasoning in, this jerk seasoning that I'm using. And she always tells me no. If you're gonna put something in a bowl, make sure the bowl is not too big, right? Like, make sure that the size of the bowl and whatever the contents that are going into the bowl are sort of equitable. So I doubled back and I was like, all right, let me get a smaller bowl, because I could hear Shaka in the back of my head saying, yeah, your content looked great, but your bowl was too big and you didn't need that big bowl for that little bit of seasoning. So shout out to my wife, the real CEO, who she keeps me sharp, man. She keeps me very sharp. I'm feeling blessed. It's Father's Day. I am a father, a proud father of a 3-year-old little boy named Malcolm, who he opened up my world and really just helped me to be a better person. I remember the day that he entered this side of the universe like it was yesterday. Literally from that moment, I have been Papa Bear and just protective and loving and all the things that I believe a father should be. I try my best to be to Malcolm. So meditating on what it means to be a father. I didn't grow up with my father. He was there from 0 to 7 or 8. But my father had substance abuse issues, mental health issues. He was abusive, to people in my household. I always was very concerned about the type of father that I would be as a result, because statistics are black men don't have fathers and they don't know how to be men and all this other stuff, but it's just not true. It's just not true. The Most High, puts their hand on us, and if you have good people around you who love on you and show you how to love on others, and they have unconditional love and regard for you, you can't do nothing but put that out into the universe. So that's what I hope. I hope and I believe I am for my son. And even though I did not have my father in my life, my mother is, you talk about unconditional love. My mother will take the shirt off her back, the hat off her head, and the shoes off her feet for the people that she really loves. For the people who she really cares about. She is not just like the matriarch, for my family, my actual unit, for my entire family. My mother, she's she's in her 50s, and she literally takes care of everybody in the family. If somebody in the family is sick, like when COVID was happening, people were getting sick, things were going on. My mother is not a doctor, but she, has been working in the medical field for like 30 years. She by training is a microbiologist. So she's been in the medical space for a very long time. Talks to the doctors, the nurses, basically what she did was she was like the person who would draw the blood, look at the cells, tell the doctor sort of, make recommendations on the types of treatment that certain patients should get based on, what she sees under the microscope. So she's been in this space, so she sees things, she hears things, she understands things, and she helps people as a result. So, I talk about my mother to say what amazing human and woman she is, because she really knew how to give me dad and mom at the same time, right? And much love to all the fathers, because I know fathers don't get like no love out there. And I had to tell Shaka, I was like, look, Father's Day, y'all gonna have to show me some love, right? Like, we not finna do this like Mother's Day, yay, Father's Day, what's up, cuz? Like, nah, we not doing it, right? But what I will say, I'm speaking about my experience, and my experience is that my mother was both mother and father. My mother, she somehow, some way adapted and figured out how to give me masculine and feminine energy. Like, my mother can be very aggressive, and not saying that that's just masculine energy, but I mean, come on, I think I've been on this earth long enough to see the difference between masculine and feminine energy, right? Like, my mother's a protector. Like, my mother, she'll throw some hands for real. Like, she does not play about hers, but at the same time, she's so gentle, she's so patient, she's so observant, which is more of like the feminine energy, right? Like slowing down, analyzing things, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, trying to figure out and solve problems in a very sort of methodical and logical sort of way, right? And also being hyper emotional, like knowing how to connect with people and show emotion and love on it. My mother always, would have, direct conversations with me and would love on me and all of that. So, shout out to my mom, and I'm shouting her out because I know it's Father's Day, but she has been a mother and a father to me, giving me both of those energies that I needed in order to become the human that I am today. So shout out to my mom, and again, shout out to all the fathers. It's also Juneteenth, which is, they finally gave black folks, Negroes, a holiday, a national holiday. My wife still ain't off work though, so some places they ain't figured it out yet. But yeah, I mean, I think black folks, we have made so many strides, and like, don't nobody ever give us a break or a handout. We just figure it out, you know what I'm saying? So whether they were gonna give us, when I say they, I'm talking about like the social structure, I'm talking about, America, right? Like, they is, I'm talking about the social structure. I'm not just talking about white folks, I'm even talking about black people who really, really strongly believe in this flag, who really strongly believe in these principles and all these rules and laws and policies that have been created, by people who founded this country and who continue to try to like put this thing on stilts and keep it lifted up. I don't know how long people can do it for, but the reality is, it's like, some even black folks and other folks still believe in all these principles. I'm not gonna go too deep into what I believe, because I don't think this is really the place for that. But all I'll say is that I think, just like a lot of people who are from other countries, my brothers and sisters who are from the continent, friends who I grew up with, who their families were from Guatemala and Mexico and all these other places, and from different Asian countries. They come here for opportunity when they retire, or when they want to take time for themselves. They go back to where they're from, their country. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel it, but the flag is a tough thing for me, because I don't really ever feel like this country has ever showed me any love, which means also it's institutions that were created, right, and supported by this machine. I feel the same way about them too. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up going to Catholic school, and I was raised in the Catholic Church, and like, these systems are definitely white supremacist systems. Like, I went to a black Catholic church. Like, what I mean by black is because the Catholic Church ain't run by black folks. The Pope ain't black and never has been, right? But the congregation was black, right? But still, it's that the crazy thing is that the institution has a spirit, right? So the people who founded it, they had a spirit and an energy about them, and their spirit and their energy and their thoughts and their ideas found their ways into the dogma and into the policies and the rules, right? So even though we was in a black church, we was essentially doing the same thing that everybody else was doing. They just had, a couple sisters in the choir who could throw down. You know what I'm saying? Everything else was the same. So, I'm not really a huge believer in this machine. I think more like my brothers and sisters who are from other places, right? Who are like, yeah, I'm going, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna get this money, I'm gonna play this game, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and then, when the time is right, I'm gonna go back to where I started. I'm gonna go back to my roots. I don't have roots, right? My roots are here. Let me be very clear. But I think like that, right? Like, mentally, like, I'm physically here, but I'm not really here, y'all. Like, I'm not really on this continent. Like, I am spirit. And I think a lot of black folks, in order for us to survive in this environment, we have literally spiritually figured out how to disconnect ourselves from this thing. We literally create our own safe havens, our own spaces. Like, I don't even live in a black community, but I'd say this: I find ways to connect with my people, whether it be virtually, whether, yesterday, man, shout out to Tolu. My sister Tolu, man, I'm so happy God put her in my life. So yesterday, Farmer Tolu, she 5'1", but stronger than an ox. Can't nobody play with this sister, right? She was like, hey, let's meet up so I can give you these basils for some boxes. So with every new box, you get a basil seedling. All right, so every new box, you're gonna get a basil seedling. So I have some new boxes this week. Shout out to the new boxes. Shout out to y'all. Y'all about to get freshness delivered to your door every week. Yeah, let's get it. So basically, Tolu's like, all right, meet me at this farm. And it's a farmer who I've been trying to meet, Michelle. She's really dope. She's at this sort of like community farm shared space in Watkins Park. It's right in I think that's like, I want to say that's like Largo. Yeah, I think that's like Largo, Maryland, or something like that, right? Mitchellville, one of those. But it's in Prince George's, right where I grew up. So I get there, and the farmer, she's like basically putting people to work, and I'm like, I ain't never really like been out here with, I haven't really, I'll be honest, I have not been out there with my farmers and like actually done any work. Like I meet with them, they show me the farm, like I bring my camera, I record some footage, I put it on Instagram. Like I will say this, I'm totally disconnected from the actual labor side of things, right? And Michelle was like, you know, people were there, a bunch of people were there, and I was like, yo, they about to get to work. And I was like, man, I need this experience. So, you know, I put my hands in the soil, you know what I'm saying? And it was such a blessing, like being amongst my folks, and we're all supporting each other. Like we had like a little system going. And again, this is my first time doing this. I'm asking questions. Tolu's helping me out. It's some other brothers and sisters that's there that's like, nah. Make sure you pull up the weeds like this. Like, make sure you put, you know, that soil down like this. Like, oh yeah, you could pull up all these, but don't pull up those. Like, they're giving me all the tools, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a baby in this. I told Michelle, I'm like, I'm a rookie, I'm a baby. So you tell me what to do, ma'am, please. Like, I'm here to help you out, you know what I'm saying? And it was such a blessing. It was such a blessing. And I didn't even intend to walk into that blessing. So I spent like 2 hours yesterday. I think like two and a half hours yesterday, just getting my hands dirty, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is this. So I thought about it. I was like, when she said, you know, meet me, she was like, oh, and Michelle, I'm gonna be at her farm. Why don't you meet me there so you can meet her? So I was thinking to myself, like, oh, let me put on some jeans, like, let me get a little fresh so that I could like make a good impression on her. Like, if I want her to do business with me, I don't want to come there in like, you know, shorts or joggers or something like that. But I was like, you know what? Let me just be me. It's Friday, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a long week. I want to put on some shorts. I want to be comfortable. I'm just going to come as myself. And I know if I come as myself and I give that energy, she going to love me regardless. We going to have a connection regardless. And I trusted that, you know what I'm saying? So sidebar, yo, please trust yourself, trust your gut, trust your judgment, and be comfortable in who you are. It took me so long to understand that, partially because I feel like I've been conditioned in these like social structure systems where it's like, well, you have to do this and you have to show up like this, and if you don't show up like this, then people won't take you serious, and blah 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 blah, right? Like, please. So yeah, trust yourself, trust your judgment, trust your energy. But yeah, yesterday was beautiful. So I said all that to say, which I'm coming back to it, I think black folks, we really do a good job, and I'm talking about this through like this Juneteenth lens. I think we do a really good job, and we got to keep this energy of like separating ourselves from this thing, from this system, from this energy. It's not just policies, laws, and rules. Like, there's a real ass energy in this country that when you drive, like I'm driving through Virginia right now, and like, I mean, the energy is like, let me slow down. Let me, you know what I'm saying, make sure I'm on my P's and Q's. I know where I'm at. There ain't no sign that says, you know, make sure you watch yourself around here. I've been living here long enough and on this earth long enough to understand the unwritten rules. There's an energy. You know what I'm saying? People are raised and conditioned to think a certain way because there's a certain energy in the places that they grow up. You feel what I'm saying? So like, that's why when you walk into certain environments or you know, cross a county or state line, you like, ooh, that's thick. What is that? That's that energy. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, like, I think black folks, I think we do a really good job at figuring out how to preserve ourselves in this country. So, man, shout out to us. Happy Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? It's great that it's a national holiday, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, they gonna corporate the hell out of this. I seen Walmart had the ice cream. You about to see sneakers. You about to see I don't know. You about to see a little bit of all of it. You gonna see all of it. So, you know, shout out to us. Let's keep the same energy we got going on. Let's keep Juneteenth like a community thing. And yeah, much love to us. Much love to the folks. Much love to the folks. So yeah, I think that's really, I think that's all that's on my mind. I'll say the last thing is that I was very inspired this week by my sister Pinky, who's the CEO of Slutty Vegan. Now I've heard of her because I have some friends that went to Clark with her. So Shaka's best friend Shauna went to Clark and would talk about this girl Pinky, and I'm like, who is she? The Slutty Vegan, right? And I'm like, what is that? Like, it just kind of went over my head. And I watched this YouTube channel called Earn Your Leisure, and they interview just like different entrepreneurs, business people who are Black. You know what I'm saying? Like, they share their story, their testimony. They talk about their business processes, their operations. So I'm also picking up tips. I'm also like trying to figure this thing out, right? Like, as I'm trying to figure this thing out, I'm listening to other people because I know that their experience is similar. And sis Pinky is like, I mean, she's inspiring. She really just puts it all out there. Her story is like amazing. You know, the fact that, you know, she grew up in Baltimore, which probably has a lot to do with her creativity and her strength. It's a lot of strong, beautiful people coming out of Baltimore. That city is deep rooted in like just developing and creating strong Black folks, because, you know, there's a reason why heroin and crack hit a lot of our cities so hard where Black people live, like, and we didn't bring it in our own neighborhoods. There was a certain, you know, strength and level of community in those places, and I just don't think, look, it wasn't a part of the social structure program. They're like, hold up, like, y'all creating your own little like spaces where y'all don't need us and y'all don't need to depend on us. So, you know, I think the reason why, you know, crack and heroin hit so hard in those areas is because, I mean, I think it was just by design. You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense to me that it was by design, because at the end of the day, it's a lot of, just like DC, just like where I grew, you know, I grew up in the suburbs, but I grew up in Prince George's County, which is very much so influenced by DC politics. Like, the Prince George's County suburbs were developed by the federal government in the sense of, federal government and DC government, in the sense that we could purchase homes, send our kids to private schools, do the things that most like Black suburban or even urban dwellers just don't have the privilege of, because we had security. We had those federal government jobs. We were protected by certain, you know, laws, and, you know, the federal government was hiring Black folks. You know what I'm saying? There's always a little bit of racism everywhere, but the federal government was a little more fair with us, right? Because it's like, look, the taxpayers, and they're voters, right? Like, we're gonna make sure we take care of them so that we can keep them happy. And then DC government, you know, Mayor Marion Barry has a bad rap, you know, for people who are very unaware of the things that he's done. They only seen one little video clip, you know what I'm saying, where she set me up, right? Like, that's what people's context for Marion Barry is, and the reality is that's just not really, you know, the truth. But yeah, I say all that to say, like, Pinky, I can tell, comes from the same type of genealogy, right? Where she comes from people who are strong. She said that her mother did whatever she had to do to put food on the table. Her father was in prison. She said the day she was born, the day before she was born, her father was sentenced to 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And she went to college. She started several businesses. You know, she worked a 9 to 5 while she was working in businesses. You know what I'm saying? And she's very successful. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to her, man. Like, she's so inspiring. I want to work with her. Like, all right, I'm gonna say this, because Pinky, you was like, yo, shoot your shot. As we build our capacity, I see that Slutty Vegan is, y'all are building too, right? I want to be your produce sourcer. It would be great for you to be able to say, and we source our food from local black farmers right here in your backyard. The onions, the tomatoes, the lettuce, you know, that we put on our burgers are from black farmers. You know what I'm saying? These French fries, these sweet potatoes, from black farmers. So, yo, shout out to you, and we gonna work together. It's gonna happen, because I'm definitely trying to come to Atlanta. I just applied for a grant with the USDA, and a big part of that grant is I want to travel and I want to talk to farmers. Like I want to subsidize my travel so I can go to Atlanta, Charlotte, Houston. I want to go to places where there's, you know, rural sort of environments where there's farmland and it's zoned for that, and then you got suburbs and urban dwellers right there in your backyard, and I'm gonna serve them. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, we got big plans, and just shout out to Pinky. Very inspired by everything that she does, and you know, wishing her and her peoples, you know, all the best, all the love. You feel me? Well, yeah, you know, that's all I got for today. Much love, blessings to everybody. And I think I'm gonna call this "I Touched the Soil," because this was my first time really getting my hands dirty. So much love, peace. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Don't let nobody stress y'all out. Black folk, keep your peace. You know what I'm saying? It's our weekend, so enjoy yourselves. Stay safe, and much love. Peace.